Good News by Megan Thee Stallion.
Good
It's
news, good
17
news.
songs long, about 50 minutes long, and this is Megan Thee Stallion's first proper long play release. She released Sugar earlier this year, and of course she's had like a smattering of different
Other stuff
releases.
here or there,
Yeah,
and different projects that she's done. I mean,
yeah,
it's been a lot.
relatively new to like the rap and trap
Yes.
scene, Houston like era, like 2018 kind of stuff. But with incredible like collaborations with Beyonce, with Cardi B, has
Yeah.
really kind of blown up and made a name for herself here. And also made a name for herself in relationship to alignment with the Breonna Taylor stuff with Black Lives Matter this year.
And she said talks about that in the album for sure.
Yes, and also in the news because the incident with Tory Lanez, which is addressed very early on at the beginning of the album with the song "Shots Fired." Woo! Jesus Christ. Do you have any thoughts about that? Because
This is the first track.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just literally. It's basically like you're on an aircraft carrier on an F-18 and it just like catapults you and you're just like, Jesus Christ. Like the very first time you do that, that's basically the beginning of this album where it just goes at it, just full gas. All gas, no brakes. And it goes on a whole Tory Lanez stuff, stuff about Breonna Taylor, a bunch of other things that go on into that track where just there's so much to unload. And I mean, it's only like a 3-minute song too.
But it's like the elephant in the room is not only just like danced around or like not immediately, just it's like gone into whole hog.
Yeah.
And like she's not holding back. She's like straight out calling out Tory Lanez for lying about the whole thing to save face, for definitely doing everything. Referencing the accusations that we'll talk about a little bit later in the podcast.
The best part, I love it. She's like, I ain't no snitch. I didn't say shit, but you shot me.
Yeah, and then play this whole like fuck shit game around it afterwards.
Yep.
So of course I'm gonna talk about it. So it's a really interesting dichotomy because Meg Thee Stallion is also talking about how there still hasn't really been a lot of justice for Breonna Taylor.
Exactly.
And then contrasting that with there still hasn't been justice in her own situation.
Yep.
Talk about that with like the idea that black women are under or like mistreated in society more broadly, and this being an excellent case study for that and showing that. But it comes off so hot, like so fire. This would definitely count as rap beef because Tory Lanez released that
Tory Lanez
SoundCloud album. That,
that was the most bitchy thing that we've heard all year. And that's why he's got nominated for the Noted Little Bitch Award because it was horrible.
A really competitive Noted Little Bitch season, but like one nonetheless. Definitely check out the Audioface Awards for that later on this year. Way better than the Grammys. Only good award show out there in music world. But yeah, Shots Fired is just such a hard ass start to a trap album this year, especially. Like it's up there with Runnin' up this year, which is like you're starting all gas no brakes. But I'm glad that she does this because this actually frees up the rest of the album
to do whatever you want,
to just be herself and do the old thing. So it's not like it starts with an intro. It's just like this is the first song. And she's going in. This is how it starts, and it's just how it is. So I'm very much liking that. Then we continue on to Circles, which is, just like pretty sort of decent fare for the for her album. I would say the album generally production-wise oscillates between good enough and generally outstanding production.
There's only a couple tracks I didn't really like. Right after Circles, Crybaby with Da Baby, I didn't like at all. Like that's just your typical trap production, and also it's felt like a Da Baby song and not a Meg Thee Stallion track. Yeah. So that was my issue with that, because it's more with him compared to her music and stuff, where it's just like, eh.
It's definitely one of the times where that's one of those few times where I can actually listen to Da Baby. But it's like we've talked about this a lot. We have to pare down one artist in order to like let another artist flourish, and then that combination actually works and feels decent. But yeah, I'd say the beginning of the album, I did a weird thing where the third time I listened to this album, out of the 3 times I listened to it, I listened to it backwards, and I like that a lot more. But the beginning of the album, I think, does what a lot of trap albums do, which is like get these sort of like heady, slow, like trap house bangers like out of the way, so the rest of the album can explore whatever the artist wants to explore. I guess you get it a little bit with Do It On The Tip, sort of, but I guess it's more like a bridge on that. Yeah. It's just like you sort of would expect a Meg Thee Stallion City Girls collaboration, because they have been like, even before Album and even before Sugar, they had like gotten along and been friends and been related. So there's that going on.
That's a lot of ratchetness in that song. That's hilarious.
Very much so. But also, again, whereas when the City Girls had a full album that we talked to
Yes.
about and reviewed, where it's like which way too much ratchetness.
It's just like you turn that shit to 15.
They're both pared down here enough to where it works out. And again, like I had a tolerance for WAP, and I was like, that was totally fine. I didn't like cringe with that. But like City Girls was just like an extreme.
Yeah. Pussy Talk still makes me feel uncomfortable. I can't listen to that song. Like, you think WAP is bad? I'm like, you need to listen to City Girls. Because I remember that first album I was sitting there, I was like, all right. Chanel.
Well, one of my newer favorite genres of YouTube video is like you pay to send someone a video on a live stream, and if they laugh or something, they'll give like the pot of money to the person who sent them the video. So it's like a game you play.
Never heard of that in my life. Okay.
It would be funny to have a game where like Ben Shapiro just takes videos online and someone sends like $10 to see like how much he cringes by sending him the Pussy Talk City Girls video. That's why that all came to me. But what you do get through here is Megan Thee Stallion is one of the like best, like not just even with the female caveat, but just best trap like rappers lyrically in the game right now this year. Because like it's not. She doesn't have filler in her words. It's not like this weird auto-tune flair. No. She's just like good at spitting, good at bars, good at like constructing them, and it doesn't feel like stale or flat.
No, my only concern is that I wanted to now, after this album, is her next work to now broaden her horizons and do a little bit more with her voice, because that's the only thing that occasionally, like especially towards the middle of the album and a little bit towards down, it can get a little monotone per se for her voice, but the lyrics in there are fantastic. So that's my only really critique of the album. Is that it's just occasionally it can get a little flat in that regard for the vocals and stuff, but when you listen to the actual lyrics and you look it up and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of substance in here. Yeah. But now it's just trying to deliver on experiment a little bit more, you know, maybe hook up with a couple of different producers, whatever, to see what you can go. I mean, a Metro Boomin Meg Thee Stallion collaboration I want.
Yeah, I'm skipping very like far down to talk about a thing you mentioned, whereas outside, where Megan Thee Stallion is doing a little bit more of like a singing kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to like make comparison for like this sake, but Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy is a natural sort of comparison. Mm-hmm. Similar career trajectory, also first albums kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And there were songs on that that kind of fell into more of a trap and beat kind of thing, rather than more experiment.
Well, even the one with SZA too. Yeah. Freaky Girl's the same thing.
Yeah, but like with outside specifically, I don't like Meg Thee Stallion's singing voice, and I think maybe if she does explore that, should we explore that in a way that where she practices a lot more and refines that in a way, because definitely I think she can just like her brain can come up with a bunch of words together that sound great. That's better than 50% of the men like trap artists who are releasing albums this year. So like, let's work with that, and then the singing can come afterwards. Because yeah, if we get back to kind of on track and order, Freaky Girls with SZA is a good combination with that.
Yes.
Hopefully SZA's releasing something soon. It's definitely been a minute. Body is the other like WAP level ridiculous.
Yeah. Because I like Body because she said this is a song where it's just you, just female empowerment. Say whatever the fuck you want. Anybody don't care. Just go.
Yeah.
With it.
And there are a lot of even different women in the music video, including trans women, which was kind of an amazing move for her to go for as well. Even that being like a difficult subject in society writ large, especially in the black community when we're talking about black misogyny earlier in the album. So pretty, it's pretty catchy. I do really enjoy that. You have Intercourse with everyone's favorite like pop Jamaican pop Cannon Mustard.
That one I didn't feel. I didn't like it that much. It was alright, but
yeah, I feel like the album at least like sustains a decent enough vibe as you're going through it.
Oh, for sure.
And I liked most of the features on it. Mm-hmm. Lil Durk and DaBaby I could go without, but City Girls was great. Popcorn and Mustard I can live with.
And then you have the Savage remix with Beyonce, which you heard earlier this year, which is just fucking amazing. Yeah.
You have Girls in the Hood, which sounds really classic.
Which is, it's the theme of Boys in the Hood, which is, 21 and Metro Boomin did something that like had a tiny bit of chime in there. That was pretty cool. There's another song in here that it featured part of the Jackson 5, and I'm trying to remember what song that was.
It might be... I don't remember exactly, but I didn't even notice that in my first listen. That's pretty interesting. Just show like an attention to detail I don't see from a lot of albums this year. But at least me, just as a Dan pick, my favorite song on the album is at the end, Don't Stop with Young Thug.
What's up with Young Thug? Yeah. I think it's a fantastic ending song. One of my favorite ending tracks so far this year. And again, I really like Young Thug as a a feature on a lot of work. I think him by himself is just kind of bland, but he can complement, especially he can complement female rappers quite well.
Yeah. And like Young Thug's got a good enough, like he can do sort of a singy thing, definitely a rappy thing. So it works very well feature wise. But Buddha Blessed definitely blessed that beat. It's like a
Yes.
mix of like industrial electronic music, but like a really tight trap beat. And a lot of the trap beats in here don't feel very repetitive or generic.
No, that's
a lot of it
that's
feels like rap too. So
yeah.
like it's good.
So like it's the mix. It's like the perfect mix of doing a lot of trap, a lot of experimentation, and then also a lot of rap as well. So it's a combination of all the three that stuff that I like into an album. Where the production value of every track, more or less, there are a couple exceptions. Like with Crybaby, I think that production's kind of cheap because it feels like just
Yeah.
he had a little too much input on there. And then I really didn't like Intercourse that much. Sounds funny out of context, but for the rest of the album, it's fantastic. Don't Stop is very, very good as an ending track. I like it because after Savage and Girls in the Hood, like that's like a perfect ending track. Because Savage and Girls in the Hood, that's a lot of a lot of floof in there. But now with that ending track, it's good. So
Yeah.
one of my favorite rap albums of the year so far.
I would definitely suggest like listening to it almost like backwards because if Meg Thee Stallion's anything, it's like a very like loud, dancey, hype up kind of like
for
production sound along with what she's talking about. Like definitely strip club music. And you really get that through like most of the album until or like I guess you're doing it in normal order. The first three songs are just sort of like the most fillerish of all. Like one of the things I really appreciated about Sugar earlier this year was how concise it was and how quality all the songs were, including original Savage that was on there. And this is bigger. Some of the songs that are on here are better than Sugar was for sure. But there's something I miss about the concision, and if maybe this album was 10 minutes shorter, it could have gotten there. And yeah, I definitely want to see growth in what happens like later from there.
Yeah.
Is this better to you than, off the top of your head, this isn't like Audioface Awards binding, but is this better to you than any of the male trap artist albums that have come out this year that come to mind immediately?
I like Savage Mode 2 more, personally, because I didn't feel like there was, because with this, there is a couple filler songs in here. I do like the conciseness of the songs. I love the conceptness of Savage Mode 2. That's the thing. I love how the production of it, everything else. It's still probably my favorite rap album of the year, and I like Sugar a little bit more than this just because of the conciseness of it, but this is still fantastic. It may grow on me a little bit more later on in the year when I listen to it more, but still, I like Savage Mode 2. That's still probably my favorite so far of the year.
I think Savage Mode 2 and this are cut from a different kind of cloth because like that's particularly a project with like two artists and they're kind of going together.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas this is like a solo artist like big album. So like I get where you're going with there and you can even like have that preference. But like for me, I guess there's some things I like about it more than this, but I think they have almost like an equal amount of filler, at least if I'm thinking about that. But at least like Savage Mode 2, it does feel like more of a complete album. But this is definitely
as a single artist work, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, because like definitely in the running with Eternal a Take, far better than like much of what has come out this year. What the fuck? Gunna released something this year?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
Gunna wanna
6ix9ine apparently released something this year.
We don't. Yeah,
like there's so much stuff that got a lot of streams. It's way worse than this. So I'm glad Meg Thee Stallion's got an album that's come out this year.
And it's getting hyped up and stuff too, which is good. So
yeah. Arbitrary Scale this week is the COVID-19 tier system, something that was introduced literally like minutes ago apparently, because we didn't have this last time. No one had like advertisements about this or anything. But on Audioface, we do arbitrary scales because what we said in the review is what we meant, and any kind of number adding anything to that is just arbitrary, and we just admit that to you up front rather than confusing you with numbers and letters and shit. Anyways, this week it is, the COVID rates, and there's yellow, red, purple. No, there's yellow, orange, red, and purple's the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, like
so
the more severe.
Which is better for Audioface? Is widespread better or is minimal better?
Wow, Audioface is a show about morals. Widespread is better.
All right, good man. This is like, this is Orange County 2 weeks ago when it was like on the brink of being widespread, but everybody was protesting about it and saying that wasn't going to happen. So then in a week it was going to be widespread anyways because of all of the right-wing protests of don't wear your mask and don't do curfew shit happen.
So it's like a reddish purple.
So it's a reddish purple, exactly.
It's solely because of Huntington Beach.
Yeah, 100% because of Huntington Beach.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give this. No, yeah, that's a good one because album-wise, this is like I really want this to be hot, like sugar hot, and it's like simmering and it's almost there and it's boiling, but it's not quite like hot. But goddamn, really did like it. And I think there's a lot of songs that like the songs there hold up, and I can listen to it as an album, and I didn't feel like it's overstaying its welcome too much. So I'm gonna stay right there with your score as well.